Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to you all. Welcome to Fitness Pro Chat with Fiterobic. Today I am joined by Himanshu Mehta. Himanshu is a businessman and a yoga expert who has trained and been blessed by Shri BKS Iyengar ji, Shri Yogendra ji, Dr. Jayadev and Hansabha. He has also been practicing other forms of yoga including Bikram Yoga, Sadanand Yoga and is blessed by Sri Pattabi Joyce. His quest to promote yoga is phenomenal. And he has been coaching and training a lot of yoga aspirants at Juhu Beach in Mumbai every Saturday for free for the past 9 years on Surya Namaskara, Pranayam and various other forms of yoga. He has also written a thesis on philosophy and psychology of yoga while pursuing this subject at Mumbai University. And this has turned out to be the best ever thesis written by any student in the past 35 years. Very recently, he has authored a book after extensive research on making of a yogi, what yoga is all about, which I have brought with me today. And I would love to showcase this to all of you. I would request Himanshu to please sign this book for me before we begin our podcast discussion today.
Thank you, Alok. That was a wonderful, generous introduction. And I'm so happy that you have purchased this book. I would say this is going to be a lifetime trophy for you. I can assure you that.
Thank you so much.
A wonderful note for you.
Thank you so much, Himanshu.
Yes. You like it.
Sure. So let me just read out what the comments by Himanshu. Dear Shri Alok, wishing you always life full of health, happiness and harmony. That's 3H for me. Love from Himanshu, which is the 4th H. Thank you so much, Himanshu.
Welcome.
Congratulations on your very first authored book.
Thank you.
There are very few businessmen. Yoga books are being written especially by people who have been great yogis in the past. And there are very few businessmen who would have come forward to write on such a complex topic like yoga. What inspired you to write this book about yoga since you are already a yoga practitioner?
Thank you, Alok. You are absolutely right. When I visited the distributors, and I was amazed that there is no book written for many years on yoga. Leave apart the businessmen, but even the gurus, because very true, yoga is a very complex subject and a very vast subject. It's a vast science. And moreover, as a businessman, of course, probably I may be the first one. I haven't come across so far any businessman has written it. So that is one of the reasons to write, because I want to inspire the working people, the businessmen, the business community also to indulge into yoga. Speaking of inspiration, I would say it's inspiration as well as motivation, both combined. Because it so happened, I'll take you in the history, that I used to practice Iyengar yoga for a longer duration, and we used to go for a camp where we had training for 12 to 14 hours in a day. And during the afternoon after lunch, we were given to read a book, Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Okay. And moment I would read just one para or 4 lines even, I would fall asleep. Not that it was boring, but it was too heavy for my brain. It was a, you can say, heavy dose science. So that made it very challenging for me. I came across in 2014 the Mumbai University course. They conducted philosophy and psychology of yoga. So I enrolled myself for that course, and I can tell you it turned out to be very challenging, much more than the physical yoga. At the end of the course, we were asked to submit a thesis. I had never written thesis in my life. It became so challenging that I went to Rishikesh, stayed there for 10 days, switched off my mobile, learning, trying to understand more of the Sanskrit word and the high philosophy, and it took me 4 months to complete the thesis, and fortunately that thesis turned out to be the best ever written by any student in 35 years of the course. That's what my professor told me. I would like to show you the thesis.
That's really commendable, I would say.
Yeah, this was a thesis.
Okay, so this is the thesis, Yoga in Modern Times, Trends and Applications. So is it, I mean, do you want to anytime publish this and make it online for everyone to?
So when I wrote this thesis, my friends and professor, they were highly impressed, and they said, why didn't you expand it and write a book? Because you have so much of experience and you have so much of material with you. So I started co-authoring with my professor. We had a couple of sittings and we started writing. But then the professor, she had to leave to London for pregnancy and the childbirth of her daughter. So, and I got busy in my business and I had to give up. So it went for a toss for a few years. Then about 2.5 years ago, I met Dr. Mickey Mehta. And when he saw the thesis, he was highly impressed. He said, Himanshu, you have lots and lots of knowledge of yoga in you. Now is the time to come out. Just start writing a book. Just write a book. You need to write it. So I would say he has motivated me a lot, and this is the result, and he has given a wonderful forward, and he had launched the book himself in Crossword. And there are a variety of reasons to write the book, because I mean it takes a lot of time. It took me nearly 2 years to write the book. Also, there are many reasons which when we talk, I'll emphasize on that. In 2010, I had almost given up on yoga, and I came across a big coffee table book by American New York Yoga Journal. So they had amazing pictures of the postures out of this world. I mean, fantastic postures. There were about 15-20 practitioners. They had posed for the postures, and surprising, the teachers at the back of the book, they had written about their own teachers, and all the teachers, all the gurus were Indian. And the rest of them, the photos were all belonging to the foreigners. So that gave me a rude shock in a way, because I mean I was amazed that why not one single Indian in the whole big coffee table book. It was 7 kilos. That stirred me, and I thought, let me contribute something for my Indian community to promote, to inspire everybody for yoga. So that was another reason.
Why this unique name, Making of a Yogi, what yoga is all about? And I would also want to understand from you about the first launch of this book, because I see two very renowned international names here, Swami Ramdev ji and Acharya Balkrishna ji. So please help us understand about the background behind how you went ahead to launch this book.
Making of a Yogi, it's like you can say a recipe of world's most delicious delicacy. So it's like what ingredients are required for a delicacy, that's a recipe. So same recipe is for the yogi. What are the qualities you need to have to become a yogi? So I've given a complete roadmap right from, so whomsoever, whatever level they want to rise up in yoga, they can rise up. They can even go with the help of this book right up to the samadhi level.
Oh.
Yeah, this was a pretty much a frustrating task, I would say, because this is my very first authored book, and I was taken for a ride by 3 of the publishers, and it wasted nearly 1 year for that. But out of frustration, because the big publishers, they were making me wait for a longer queue. So I was getting frustrated. I then decided to have it self-published. So I took the help of my customers, because I'm into paperboard business, and a lot of printers, they're my customers. So they really helped me out. They came forward and helped me out. And the book has come out amazing. All the publishers, they have appreciated the quality, because very few yoga books are colored. So it's a colored book basically. So what happened was I sent the book to Swami Ramdevji's ashram, Patanjali, and they forwarded the book to their international event manager, Colonel Dheer. He is an 82-year-old retired colonel. He has fought 2 wars. He went through this book for 10 days. Then he called up Swamiji and he said that this book is worth launching. And he told Swamiji that more than 50% of the topics are such that I've never heard of it in 20 years of my practice of yoga with you. So it's like more of a secret of yoga which this gentleman has written. So he really deserves his honor. And I was so fortunate that I was called to Haridwar, and Swami Ramdevji, he launched my book on 8th of February 2023, morning 7 a.m. live on Asta TV.
Oh.
That day I will never forget, and he presented a mala to me, and he blessed me. He said, you've done wonderful work, you're doing great work for the society also. And then I met Acharya Balkrishna ji, and even he was amazed with this book. Said, you're a businessman and you've written, that's amazing. It's really inspiring to a lot of people. So even he was thrilled looking at the topics. That's been really a great honor. I would say it was like winning Oscar directly.
Absolutely. I would imagine, I mean, the kind of compliments that you would have received, especially coming from Swami Ramdev ji.
Oh, yes.
Who himself is an icon of yoga. I mean, he exemplifies yoga in India.
Exactly.
So you say you have 42 years of experience in yoga. So first I would definitely want to understand how and when did you get started, what inspired you. Second, I see there is a poster here which says gain 42 years of experience in 42 days. What's the secret behind it? Is it within 42 days we would become like you?
Certainly you can acquire all the experiences, I can say that. So talking about my journey, it really began in 1978. I joined a gym known as Friends Gym. It is owned by one a very handsome looking and very wonderful body. He was a Mr. India. I remember the name Mr. Jha. He was Mr. India. I was a teenager then. And I mean, as a teenager, my body was like very slim. I was teased by my classmates as Lambus Kakadi. Slim, tall, cucumber. I wanted to build up my body. I wanted to wear t-shirts. That is the reason I went to the gym. And to my surprise, he prescribed me the gym instruction, or the exercise instruction card. He prescribed the 10 yoga asanas. And I was amazed. I thought, why yoga asanas? And I had never done any yoga before. So he instructed me to practice one day yoga and one day gym. So that was my first encounter. I had a doctor friend. I was getting inspired by him and he was inspired by me because I was then even practicing karate, martial arts. He directed me to Yoga Institute Santa Cruz way back in 1981. I mean, I used to come and practice yoga for a few days because Santa Cruz is a very passive yoga. They give fantastic coaching in pranayam. And of course, the discourses which they used to have very frequent, and I never used to understand that time because there was no one to guide me really. There was no friend or teacher or master to really show me the pathway. So I was getting bored with the discourses. But yoga, of course, and I must have joined Yoga Institute 20 times in 15 years. I learned under the founder Yogendra ji, then his wife Sita Devi ji, then his son Dr. Jaidev, and then his wife Hansa Ba, who she's the chairperson right now, and she's a president of International Yoga Board. So I've learned under all the four, great teachers, gurus. But I used to go for maybe 15 days or a month or so and then drop out because I used to find it a little boring also because it was a very passive yoga. But whenever I was feeling low in life or depressed, I would go and I would get rejuvenated. So that was the beauty of it. And then I came in contact with Iyengar yoga classes, and that was very addictive. So that was very dynamic yoga, and that's the kind of yoga really I wanted, the physical yoga. So that made it as a routine yoga practice, and then I ventured out many other yoga masters, Bikram hot yoga, Patabi Joyce's Ashtanga yoga, and then Shivanand yoga and many others. So I would just walk into any of the classes and try it out. So now coming back to this 42 years experience in 42 days. So to unlearn what you learn, you require 21 days. And then to acquire new knowledge, new techniques to learn requires another 21 days to form a new habit. So that's one of the reasons for 42 days. And once you are engrossed with the help of this book, then definitely you get all the experience of 42 years, and that will make your path very clear. You are aware that where you want to go, and you will lead forward.
So we'll want to understand from you how many types of yoga are there. You have mentioned in this book there are 33 types of yoga, and obviously understanding more into details about each form of yoga is required, given there is a lot of confusion around Hatha yoga or Ashtanga yoga or Vinyasa yoga, and especially for a novice it is extremely difficult to decide which yoga form to adopt or start their journey with. So could you please help us understand how we can clear the doubts around different forms of yoga?
Yes. In fact, this 33 kind of yoga, what I've given in my book, let us understand. One part is Hatha yoga. Now, those 33 kind, they are the teachers. They have given a title as an identity, more as a marketing. So I've given, and there can be more than 33 also. It's like fashion evolving all the time, and everybody comes out with different kind of yoga, and some of them are very amusing one, like Doga yoga, bear yoga, and goat yoga, and Harry Potter yoga, so many. So you find strange titles coming in. So it's an attraction given, but any which way, for my reader, it becomes very clear that which style of yoga is better for them, and they can just try it out. Speaking of Vinyasa, Hatha, Ashtanga, and so many hot yoga, hot and hot is different. Hatha is the basic, all physical yoga or pranayam, they are Hatha yoga. Because there are other branches of yoga too that we'll talk later. Let me explain in short. Of course, Hatha yoga is a very detailed, deep topic, but Ha means sun and Tha means moon. So that's you can say a paradox kind of a thing.
True.
But they always work in harmony. So the popular ones are Iyengar yoga. It was conducted by Guruji, Iyengar Guruji. Then Ashtanga yoga, which was started on by Patabi Joyce in Mysore. Then Bikram hot yoga. There we used to do hot yoga in 41 degrees temperature, and founded by Bikram Chaudhary. It was in LA. And another popular one is, of course, Bihar School of Yoga, Munger. That's very challenging too.
Yes.
Then Shivanand is there. So likewise, many of the style, and depending on the difficulty level, they have become popular. Vinyasa is the slowest form of yoga, and now it's becoming more popular.
Okay.
And actually speaking, yoga has to be done in a very slow form. And later on, when I talk to you about our Surya Namaskar, so we also practice Surya Namaskar in our Vinyasa style. So Vinyasa is more latest trend, you can say. So that's how many varieties of yoga are.
Okay.
And mind well, it's only about the physical yoga, because we are going to go more deep. And the physical
Absolutely.
yoga is the tip of the iceberg.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, how many types of asanas are there? It would be good to understand from you. And given the book has already making lot of good reviews, so we would want to understand who are the popular personalities who have added their reviews in the book.
Yeah, I'm smiling because you will get a, you'll be very much surprised when I tell you the figure, how many asanas. Can you give a wild guess?
Maybe
A wild guess, whatever comes to your mind.
hundreds of asanas.
Hundreds of it, not more than that.
I am not sure about it.
You need to add another 4 zeros. 84 lakhs asanas basically.
Oh,
One asana for every species.
oh,
Okay.
that is quite intriguing.
So, yeah, exactly. So, 8.4 million asanas are there.
Wow.
And then in Gorakha Samhita or Hatha Yoga Pradapika, I'm talking about 10th and 11th century book. They have mentioned that Lord Shiva, the Adi Yogi, he fashioned one asana for every 1 lakh asanas. So the 84 asanas are considered to be the most prominent one. So one who knows 84 asanas, he or she has really mastered Hatha Yoga.
Oh, okay.
So
No, that's very intriguing, and
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure many of us would not know, including me.
Sure, of course.
We do not know how many asanas are there. Talked about
8.4 million, yeah.
8.4 million is what you talked about.
Exactly. And the book, we have received a wonderful review from great gurus. Of course, Swami Ramdev ji is there, Acharya Balkrishna ji is there, Hansaba, she is there. Then Sadhvi Bhagwati of Parmarth Niketan Rishikesh. Then Swami Chidanand ji of Parmarth Niketan Rishikesh. Then we have even from the business community, Rashesh Shah, who is the chairperson of Edelweiss, now known as Novama Broking Firm and Novama Wealth Investment. Likewise, we have received a fantastic review on this book from many of the leading personalities, even from UK, USA.
That's really interesting.
Thank you.
Many people mostly practice yoga for flexibility and strength. So it would be good to understand if yoga can also help in maintaining the emotional and the physical well-being of people. Second, how exactly it is different from other forms of exercises, especially the modern forms of exercise.
Yes, in fact, initially, I mean, people who are never practiced yoga, novices, they get attracted looking at the very, attractive postures of or the asanas and the dynamic postures. So they would be attracted and they would like to try it out. But yeah, it takes a lot of time. Let's say for a Sirsasana, when I used to practice Sirsasana, for Iyengar yoga, for the first 2 years, they would not allow us to even spell S of Sirsasana. They would refrain, because they would say that you first open up all the channels of your body, then you go for a dynamic, difficult postures. Otherwise, it is going to be harming you for the entire life. It can be, for Sirsasana, of course, the cervical can be an issue. And likewise, other also, the spinal cord, that what affects. So, yes, it's people try for flexibility, because people who understand that yoga is only for physical advantage, they may restrict to the flexibility or even you can say the strength part of it or the core strength. But really speaking, yoga is much beyond physical aspects. And comparing other exercise with yoga, see, yoga works on your parasympathetic nervous system, which helps in rejuvenating or relaxing, or it gives a relief Whereas other exercises works only on sympathetic nervous system, which makes you feel tired. So after a session of yoga, you feel tranquil and relieved. Whereas other exercise, you'll feel tired. So that's, advantage of yoga. And there are many other advantages we can understand from comparing with other exercises. So if you see, even the runners, after running or even exercising, the trainers, they make you do stretching exercise.
Very true.
So yeah, cool down, as you say.
Absolutely.
So cool down exercise, it's a stretching. So what is stretching? Is again yoga. So it's like, and when you stretch, you breathe in slowly and breathe out, exhale. So it's like inhale the pleasure, exhale the pain. Inhale the pleasure, exhale the pain. So that's how it works. So anything, if you see, ultimate culminates to yoga practice. And now comparing for the physical reasons, Bikram hot yoga became very popular. You know why? Because Bikram hot yoga, it's like practicing 26 sets of postures in sweating, and it becomes very challenging because on one hand you sweat, and for the man, they just have to be in a swimming costume. That's it. And females, especially the teachers, they are young teachers. The biggest attraction was the female teachers. They were all in bikinis all the time. So that becomes an attraction. One more thing is, any person who is plumpy and attends the very first session, he sweats out so much that after the session, he finds his waist is reduced by 1 inch. So that's the reason it became very popular. And Bikram had 7,000 certified teachers, all in the age group of 22 to 35, and most of them were Europeans and Americans. He had more than some 2,000 studios across the globe. And he used to stay in Beverly Hills. So he was one of the richest yoga teachers of those days, you can say.
Wow.
And he was a yoga trainer to President Nixon.
Amazing.
So there is a physical attraction which attracts people to yoga. But as I said, the physical yoga or hatha yoga is just a tip of the iceberg, or it's like a welcome drink to yoga or a gateway to yoga.
Sure.
But then the yoga is much deep and vast science.
So the next one that I have for you is about consistency. It is one of my favorite questions that I ask to every expert that I speak with. How exactly people can remain consistent to practicing yoga on a day-to-day basis?
So you're right, consistency is the key. I motivate my disciples when I conduct my free sessions every Saturday on Juhu Beach, that 3 Ds that can keep you consistent if you follow the 3D formula. That is dedication, determination, and discipline. So if you follow this, and moreover, if you are going to read my book, so that will appeal to you and that will make you more motivated, because you know from where I started through my book and where I ended. I mean, I've not ended yet, but where I'm here right now.
Sure.
So you have a very clear path, and my book works as a, you can say, Google map or a map of yoga.
To be a channel to...
Exactly. So you can navigate through.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that way, I would say definitely you have to be consistent. Then only then you can have the result. Okay. Now let's say, example, you are going on a long drive on your bike. You want to go to Ladakh, say. You know Ladakh is in north, but still you need to have a road map, right?
True.
So you are going to have a navigator, and that navigator is going to help you reach Ladakh. So same way my book works as a navigator. So whatever level of yoga you want to reach, you can reach that altitude. As I said, you can even go up to Samadhi.
That's amazing to know. I mean, you talked about 3Ds: dedication, discipline, and
Exactly.
determination. And that is for all of us to follow and become determined, become disciplined,
Exactly. So
and become dedicated to
yes,
follow a path of consistency.
3D is the key for consistency. You can say that.
Absolutely. Yoga is known to have therapeutic effect. So, can you please, from your personal experiences, cite out some of the stories and example how it has had a therapeutic effect on you in person and also on some of the people who you have trained as well as trained with?
Yes, I can give you hundreds of examples. Yoga certainly helps you immensely to come out of various ailments, because all the ailments of the disease is a result of imbalance in the humor. Humor is a body fluid. So when there is an imbalance, then it shows up in the form of ailments and disease. Now, say for example, Manisha Koirala, she used to do yoga with me in hot yoga,
Oh,
and she was suffering from cancer, and she has bounced back from cancer.
absolutely.
Likewise, I came across in Rishikesh one lady, and she fell in love with my book, and she's from Finland, and she had a breast cancer, and she has cured the breast cancer without chemo, only through yoga.
That's amazing.
Myself, when I used to travel on business trips to Europe, US, I was suffering from jet lag. So I devised three types of Bastrika. I was advised by one guru about the Bastrikas, and then I modified to my, and I've given in my book also. But before I started Bastrika, I used to take melatonin tablets. I used to import from USA those tablets to just get over the jet lag. But when I started practicing these Bastrikas, three powerful Bastrikas where I've given a QR code in my book, and they are amazing. And even if I've not slept for the whole night, if I do that for 15 minutes, that's enough to rejuvenate me, and it's like a fresh start of the day. So, similarly, when I was intensely practicing, I had a kind of a ligament tear in my, you can say, the arm, and I had taken MRI, but nothing was showing up medically. But then one of my yoga teachers, she directed me to do certain exercises of yoga, and I could get over it in just a month's time. Otherwise, before that, I was not even able to lift even 2 kilos. So, a couple of months back, I had, due to my kayaking, bad posture in kayaking, I had a L4, L5, that's known as a, you can say, kind of a slip disc, lumbago of L4, L5. So I could cure with my Guruji's prescription of some 30-40 asanas, and I could bounce back in 2 days, and my doctor was surprised. So likewise, you can come across many examples, and people have really bounced back from ailments which were not possible to cure. We have people coming who are having diabetes. They have got over the diabetes problem by doing regular Surya Namaskar. So there are many examples as such, and yoga works as a you can say prophylactic or a preventive medicine, and yoga works also as a cure.
True.
Yeah.
So internet is filled with lot of videos and tutorials around yoga, and for any novice it is extremely difficult to follow which form of yoga to adopt. It is really demotivating for them for not being able to take up any of these, because most of these videos have extremely weird poses or extremely difficult poses, which is difficult for any common man to adopt yoga and start. So what are your views, and how do you help dispel this myth about yoga that is prevalent right now?
Yes, you're right. With this internet and more of the Insta and all, you find all the impossible postures being shown, but people just get, I mean, they get intimidated by that posture, but they don't go into detail that that person, how many years of practice is there behind that posture, how they are doing it, what is the technique involved, but they just want to have the end result rather than going into the process. So I would say you can do any of the postures. It's nothing is impossible. There's no magic. There's no rocket science. But you just go through the process, follow the right technique, follow the right discipline, follow the guidelines of your teacher, then you'll definitely achieve the posture, whatever you dreamt of, whatever you desire. And first of all, you need to work on opening up your body, the flexibility. I mean, if you have frozen shoulder, you're not going to do back bend. It's going to harm you. Likewise, if you're not able to open up the pelvic, the hamstring, then you're not going to be able to do any other postures. So when I started first yoga, my hands were hardly able to reach just below the knee level. But today, I can go all out and I can touch my heels or even go beyond that.
Awesome.
So it's so many years of practice, and we have learned out of the techniques. We have followed the right technique. So people they feel that Rome is built in a day. It never happens like that.
Absolutely.
Okay? They cannot become a sultan overnight. So they have to take baby steps, follow the right technique, and then they will definitely achieve whatever they dreamt of.
Some people may have physical limitations or medical condition and may not have time to do yoga. So what are your thoughts? How would you suggest, or what would you suggest them to adapt yoga according to their needs?
Yes, first of all, if people are office goers and working hard and they don't find enough time, but they feel stressed also, so I can recommend they need to take out just 15 minutes of their time, do Bhastrika or some other exercises what I've given in a book or even on my YouTube channel as well as Insta. Let's say, for example, people spend long hours working in the office, sitting on a chair. So there's 1 minute stress buster which one can easily refresh themselves just in 1 minute. So people working for long working hours in office and they have a sitting job, the chair job, and in the first place I tell that the worst disease that humans are suffering, especially the white collars, is a chair disease. So the best is every half hour, if they get up from the chair and do just 1 minute stress buster, they will be working efficiently throughout the day. And I'm sure whatever they do, accomplish the task in 12 hours or 14 hours, they will be able to accomplish in just 8 hours. So that's the 1 minute stress buster given in my YouTube channel and even in Insta. So I can give the name of my channel. It's himanshumehta.co.in. I repeat, without space, himanshumehta.co.in. And my Insta handle is himanshumehta.007. I repeat again, himanshumehta.007. Now, people who are maybe heavily bodied or old, for them I have devised a chair Surya Namaskar. So then sitting, they can do the Surya Namaskar, and which can be very helpful. I devised it for my mother, and she used to do 108 chair Surya Namaskar, and she had won medal for that. So when there was a contest. So likewise, one should not restrict with any excuse, I would say. They can, if there is a will, there is a way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Picking up from chair Surya Namaskar, I saw your YouTube channel as well as Instagram handles. So you do a lot of free community service or Kar Seva, and there are a lot of Surya Namaskar videos that you have already uploaded.
Yes.
Can you please talk more about the benefits of Surya Namaskar and the free community service, how people are engaging with this free community service?
It so happened that I shifted my residence to Juhu Beach. I stay right on the beach, and there I saw people doing crazy workout and running and jogging and all. But what I saw that the leg required flexibility and serenity. So I thought of introducing Surya Namaskar and yoga, because that time nobody was doing yoga on the beach. So it became very unique for them. So I started in way back in 2014, and 2015 we had an International Day of Yoga celebrated. So ever since then we have been, my service as a community service or a Kar Seva is ongoing from last 9 years. So first we started was 108 Surya Namaskar on mantra music in 80 minutes.
Okay.
So Surya Namaskar, I would say, is such a fantastic ancient workout, and it's the only workout which works on 95% of your body part. We say 3 basic fundamentals of fitness, that is strength, core strength and flexibility. So Surya Namaskar is the only exercise which can give you a combination of all 3 in one. And for females it is a bonus, as we might have come across a Bollywood actress. She could trim it down to 0 figure, yeah, in just 6 months, and doing 108 Surya Namaskar every day. So, and then we started chair Surya Namaskar. Then I started blindfolded Surya Namaskar. So many of the senior practitioners practicing with me do blindfolded, and that is very challenging, because, and very much of an advantage, that you take the focus within. So your posture becomes more and more perfect, and the channels open up, and your breathing pattern becomes very regular. And then I devised Surya Namaskar with chakra meditation on mantras. It's a globally first of its kind, and we do only 12 sets of Surya Namaskar, 12 cycles in 1 hour. It's the slowest form of Surya Namaskar. I spoke to you about Vinyasa, so it's a Vinyasa style of Surya Namaskar. So this is a great advantage, and we have an age group from 8 to 80 practicing. So this slowest form of Surya Namaskar has one big advantage, is that it gives you enough time to adjust and get into a proper form of the posture, and doesn't damage you, your body part, I mean, while practicing. So there is no kind of injury. And thirdly, it encompasses all the aspects of pranayam, because if you follow the dialogue, then we end up taking only 1 breath or 2 breaths per minute. You know what is the normal breathing pattern of human beings? It's 12 to 15.
Oh.
So in yoga, you say that you practice like a tortoise, not like a rabbit, right? Because a rabbit breathes 30 to 60 times a minute. A tortoise, 3 to 4 times a minute. Rabbit lives for only 10 years. Tortoise lives for 150 to 200 years. So that's the biggest advantage. So that's the reason now from last 5 years, this has become very popular. And we modified the asanas also. We made it more challenging. And here again, we do blindfolded Surya Namaskar. So one more big advantage is, it is said, slower the exercise, stronger the muscles. So just doing a 12 cycles gives you more benefit than doing 108 cycles, because 108 rapid form of Surya Namaskar is like more like a cardio workout. Yes. It just takes you from maybe physical and to some extent psychological level, but this slowest form of Surya Namaskar, it takes you from physical to psychological, and psychological to psychophysiological, that is a spiritual level. So even when I practicing blindfolded, at about 8 or 10 cycle, I start getting tingling effect or numbness and all that, which is a kind of a, you can say, going into a trance. So that's the biggest advantage.
So I was also listening to one of your interviews very recently. I think it was last week, where you talked about getting rid of glasses.
Oh, yes.
And you
Yes.
talked about Chakshu Yoga. So it would
Exactly.
be great to understand what exactly is Chakshu Yoga.
Yes, it so happened about a year ago or so, my doctor friend had diagnosed, and he said you have a 3.5 number and you need to wear glasses. So I wore it only for 2 days and I got bored. I got annoyed also because, and I don't like to get addicted to anything. So I started practicing Chakshu Yoga, which I'd learned years ago. And in just about 2 or 3 weeks' time, I mean, everything was clear. I did not require any glasses, whether I was reading newspaper, even while I was writing this book, or driving for long distance. I don't ever wear glasses, and I don't wish to wear the glasses. I mean, we see the animals in the jungle. Do you see them, any of them, with the glasses? So why do we need the glasses?
Absolutely.
Okay. I mean, I would say this glasses or contact lenses is more like a scam, because once you wear the glasses, first of all, you can't live without it. Okay, you can't see anything without it.
True.
Second thing, it doesn't stop there. You'll have to keep on, the number will keep on increasing.
Yes.
So it's not a solution, it's a problem.
Absolutely.
If it was a solution, then it's a one-stop solution, then it's okay.
True.
Yeah. So Chakshu Yoga, I've written about it, and I have given a QR code where I have given a techniques of about 6-7 exercises which one can follow and improve their vision. If they have the glasses, they can even get rid of it or lower the number or even get rid of the contact lenses. And I've given videos on my, again, YouTube channel and Insta, so one can watch.
Absolutely. I mean, that's amazing to know. That brings us to the last part of today's discussion. What is the secret of your success in yoga? Would you attribute it to books or to teachers? That's one part of it. The second is we would also want to understand key recommendations that you would have for people today to follow yoga in their daily life.
Yes, you'd like to know the secret of my success in yoga, right? So I tell my disciples that, and everybody is the same, that self-practice is the best practice. I repeat, self-practice is the best practice. See, good teachers can give good corrections, but they have their own limitation. When you go to a yoga class, they may be having 10, 20, 30, 40 students. How much of attention would you get? And if you go for one-on-one training, it is going to be very expensive these days. So, 2 books are more than enough for you to rise up to whatever level of yoga you want to rise. Okay. One is, of course, my book, and the name of the couple of books I've given in my book, which one can refer to whichever they like, and if they follow the right techniques, then they can really master yoga to whatever level they want to. And what they can do is, even after reading the book, follow the right technique, attend sessions, come to my sessions and take free guidance, and that's how they can improve their yoga. But as we discussed earlier, consistency is the key.
Yes.
Right? So follow 3 Ds: discipline, dedication, determination. And I would say take out at least 1 hour, 1.5 hour of time, me time, my time. That's just 6.5% of the whole day. So that one should reserve for their physical and mental development, and then they will have a great life. I keep on telling is 3 basic pillars of life, 3 pillars of life: physical, mental and financial. So if they are able to strike a balance between the 3 pillars, then their life is on smooth sailing. And yoga can only help you strike a balance amongst these three pillars. And last but not the least, I would like to end with a motivating quote. That's life begins when you are out of the comfort zone. Life begins when you are out of the comfort zone. So, kick your butt, get on the mat, start doing yoga.
True. Thank you, Himanshu, for joining us today. It's been truly amazing to have this discussion with you. Thank you so much.
Very welcome, Alok, and it is certainly my pleasure. And I would say thank you to you also to inviting me on the channel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That brings us to the close of today's episode. Stay tuned for another mystical and amazing journey on yoga with Himanshu in the series of podcasts that is being planned with Himanshu. We look forward to all of you joining us later. Thank you. Stay healthy, stay fit, stay inspired, and stay motivated. Hi, I am Alok and I am the founder at Fiterobic. Fiterobic is a health tech platform that strives to help people staying fit and healthy. Join me in this journey as we speak with experts and try to unravel the secrets behind staying healthy and fit. Join me in this journey, Fitness Pro Chat with Fiterobic, where we strive to bring a lot of evidence-based and science-backed information on staying healthy and fit. This is a weekly podcast that we out to publish for everyone to benefit and stay healthy and fit.